We are live with session 0. I think everything's working. Cool.
Yay.
Okay.
Yay!
I can do this. I've definitely done this for years. We are live with Dungeon World 2 Session 0. And as a Session 0, it will probably barely touch on the rules. And instead will be about weird world building stuff. Because I've played a game of Chasing Adventure with you folk. And it was the most insane role-playing experience I have had in my over 10 years.
It was fine.
Now, there were some
Still
close
don't know
contenders,
weird about
including the entire Tales from Pitfall saga that we also did.
That's also true.
But the donut sprinkle world was...
It was a good world.
It was, yeah.
So this is the first public thing of Dungeon World 2 that isn't a blog post. The rules we'll be using here have been updated since the blog post that fans of Dungeon World 2 have been seeing as they go out. So some moves will be changed and different. Some classes will work a bit differently. It will be the same except different. Is going to be how I very confusingly put it. It's
Same, but different.
Yeah.
That's helpful, and everyone
very helpful. But basically, if you think you know the game, you're right from the blog posts, except where you aren't, where there's that same term is used in a different way, or this move does the same thing, but it's called something different, or this mechanic was totally gutted and is gone, or was totally added in. But it's 90% the same, but I have literally this past week, I've been doing nothing but I've been eating, sleeping, and refining this game for the past week.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have somehow broken a character sheet.
It's just text. We don't even have a Roll20 character sheet.
Yeah, I broke it. I broke it. I don't have the bio and info or the attributes option when I click on it anymore.
What did you do?
I broke it.
A great start. Okay. Refresh the page. I see it. Refresh the page.
Yeah,
I see it. So it's probably just a Roll20 thing.
But I broke the character sheet before I typed anything in.
That's okay. We're off to a good start.
Yeah, really good start.
Okay, well, we'll go through the process of making characters. We will go through the process of setting up our group. I don't think the group playbook needs any customizations at the start. That's part of the intention, is kind of figuring out how you guys relate to each other over time. And I'm immediately wrong. You have to technically set up your bonds. That's in the Session 0 procedure. But then we're going to, world build. We have a few things in mind already that we talked about off screen for the last 5 minutes and just threw out ideas and said, yes, let's do all of those.
All of the ideas. Because everything is... Yeah.
Perfect. Do you have access to your character sheet again?
Yes, I have figured it out. I'm typing in my stats.
Perfect. At this point, we don't have any... you're going to be just writing things down. You'll be writing things down on your character sheets. You'll be writing things down on the map itself, especially group stuff, world stuff. We'll just write things down in Roll20. But there's nothing that'll be shown on stream yet. It'll be our faces talking and probably us maybe reading some stuff out loud at certain points as of that.
Okay.
If we have time, we'll go for as long as we feel like. For Session 0 and setting up, and then see how we feel about just jumping into playing the game. Maybe after our break. We'll see how we feel.
We'll see how things go. Yeah, cool.
Okay. I wrote a procedure for this. Let me go find it. Step 1 is choose a class. As I go find the procedure, I think that's step 1.
No, it's not. Step 1 is talk about expectations.
Oh, we did that off screen. That's
what?
Okay.
What subtypes of fantasy are you interested in? What kinds of adventures would you like to have? What story tones and world types feel compelling, etc., etc. I think we got to not grimdark.
Yes.
Yeah. Probably epic, but not in the sense of Lord of the Rings, this takes forever and a half and a day, or Wheel of Time epic, but great large moments, Fate of the Kingdom type
Loud
things.
feelings epic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was thinking more yes, we're in a world of monsters and magic. But also, I was thinking, like, everyone's just still a regular guy. Like, you might have magic
Okay.
and you might be able to throw a fireball, but, like, it's not building level power. Like, that's the power of a god, to be able to smite a building. But, like, a wizard can, kill someone with magic, sure. And a high level wizard might be able to, like, do a big ritual to do a thing. But at the end of the day, like, magic and swordplay and stuff can't, cut a mountain in half.
Okay, so lower
magic
levels
is
of
like
magic.
semi-normalized. Like the farmer
Yeah,
might know a
semi-normalized.
small
Okay.
enchantment to make farming easier in some way.
Yeah, but like nothing to the point where you like magic is technology is the normal metaphor.
Yeah.
Okay.
As opposed, magic is a thing that one learns to enhance their life, and the wizard is one who specializes in learning, good magic and like formal magic or whatever. But
Jordan,
like,
as the wizard, are you good with that? You have
Yeah.
a bit more authority over the magical aspects of the world during this session.
I was less trying to harp on magic and more just say like epic fantasy implies superheroes.
Yeah.
And I would not like to be a superhero.
Yeah, we'll judge
I would
the
agree.
epicness of the world by how big the average sword size is that someone can swing in one hand. And the answer is relatively ordinary size swords.
I would
We're
say
not going like
more a matter
Cloud.
of ordinary type people potentially stuck into extraordinary times.
That's fair.
Yeah, something big and epic and beyond our abilities can most definitely happen.
There, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yes.
But not everyone has their, like, Cloud Strife. There's not going to be one in every village who's like, I cut mountains in half and kill giant monsters.
Yeah, that's someone people know across the continent, and then send letters about saying he's moving. Get out of the way.
Yeah,
if
get out of the way.
Is that strong?
He will either destroy your village or he's fighting something that will destroy your village.
People know in advance when those kinds of individuals move in a world. Well, it's just like in the real world when someone's like delivering nukes. People say something when they're getting shit.
There are private jet trackers in real life for everyone who has a private jet.
Anyone want a random name generator? This hero guy, because at this point,
we need this.
Oh yeah, there is the man who can cut a mountain. Yeah. There's just one of him.
The nickname is Mountain Slayer or something.
I think
it's with Mountain Slayer.
Yeah, it's just Mountain Slayer. And I think that's the only person on that power level that is like not an immortal dragon.
Yeah.
Like that is.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. There are immortal dragons. Cool.
Yeah, immortal dragons, and then the Mountain Slayer, the strongest mortal. Like, he is the strongest mortal.
I don't think anyone really knows why he is either, or if, like, is he mortal?
Idea.
But either way, he's known as such.
Perfect. I'll put the Mountain Slayer, and then the strongest mortal. He or she or they have a name, but
no one's gotten close enough in a
They're
while.
fine to go by it. I imagine like we'll probably see them from a distance, and they will be aggressively normal in their personality. Oh no, that's just Saitama. Never mind, that's Saitama.
Saitama.
Okay.
We'll
I still might
see
do
what they
that,
are
even knowing the reference I'm subconsciously making.
Yeah. So yeah, fantasy with some big monsters, but we're not superheroes.
Yep.
Ignore that. I'm just trying to get art.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So type of fantasy, type of adventures. Feels like we covered that.
Types of
adventures.
we didn't do adventures. What are we doing?
I think general adventures.
Yeah, whatever comes up. I don't mind.
We're exploring.
I mean, dungeon delving feels kind of boring, but it can be done. Something in a city, exploring. I'm sure that we can make anything interesting as we go into it.
Yeah.
That's fair. So let's spout our ideas for the world that we're adventuring in first, to then figure out why we're adventuring. Because I think we established that the world is a literal infinite sea of different floating
Oh
islands?
yeah, the sentence that I said is that there's always another ice wall.
Yep, I'm adding
And
that in there.
yeah,
There's always another
beyond
ice
each
wall.
wall is a different realm. It's a multiverse on a flat plane.
The second that you said there's always another ice wall, I definitely want to be able to get through the ice wall. I don't care if I spend my entire time finding a fire ritual to be able to melt my way through. We're going through the ice wall.
And maybe that's what you're doing, is you're adventuring to try and find a way through it. That might not actually be adventuring at the ice wall. It might be, looking for a fire spell, or like, I heard this thing can teleport us past the ice wall, or I heard this thing has like something that can fly over the ice wall.
Yeah, that sounds like we need some onus, like something has happened in our section of the world that means we need to leave.
I mean, we could do that of having something section. It could also just be a matter
Well,
of I am done with this place.
It could be a personal reason why we need to leave this realm. That's also fair.
Okay.
The realm could be fine.
The realm could be fine. Are you all like, I don't know, wanted for execution, or like being invaded by an evil empire, or is like it's something more environmental? Like, it's gonna explode or something.
If we're not going crazy grimdark, I think the realm being fine makes some level of sense.
That's fair.
It's just we're all personally want out.
Yeah.
All right. What things do we all hate together?
Could be that.
All
I'm trying to find a reason to bind us as a group.
Okay. People actually wanting to be paid.
The economy's
Oh my
terrible
god,
here.
the economy's
Like
crashed.
it's fine if you want to be a farmer, basically. But if
there's not a lot of room for adventuring in this.
We specifically
money out of me.
We specifically didn't want to. None of us picked cleric. Has a god come to our realm
Ooh.
that we want out of? We want nothing to do with.
Oh my god, an agricultural god came in and is like, you must all farm. And we're like, we don't want to do that.
Okay, yes, I like that.
okay, so there's an
A god of prosperity has come.
Okay.
And we're like, no, we're not doing prosperity.
We made our money.
Prosperity and agriculture.
Yeah,
arrives
we made our living
from over the wall. Let's get
from a different
From
realm.
over the ice wall.
over the ice wall. And
Yeah.
now everyone,
So I'm assuming we weren't good people, and now this realm is getting better.
or
Yeah.
or it's like everything's fine if you like are this type of productive society members, kind of thing.
Oh my,
like,
so
you could just
okay,
be.
I have a great historical equivalent. It's like the shrinking of the Wild West as towns and cities are moving across. So we're like the cowboys and the bandits that are like, oh no, our life is whittling away. Like we can't do what we've been doing.
We're actually introducing laws. Awful.
No,
Yep.
I want to go pew pew pew
I
pew.
wonder if that's why all like the whole like everyday mundane magic that farmers use magic to make farming easier. Yeah, the god was like, here, have
do it.
some, like, everyone can have some magic as long as you obey us.
Ooh, where does magic come from? Wizard.
I believe there's the new magic of this god, but I'm from the old
there's
magic.
divinely powered magic.
Yes, divinely powered magic, and then there's like the ancient texts magic of runes, and you gotta like study to read them like that.
Okay.
Perfect.
But
And we don't actually know where that magic came from?
Yeah, where's the juice?
Back in my day, we had to read the runes and figure out how to cast fireball. You dang kids now just get to go, please, and then it goes poof.
Perfect. I guess, what do you know about the world's history? Like, why am I getting that's goodbye phone call. That was not a time.
Yes.
Apparently I'm very popular as soon as I can't answer any messages or phone calls. So world history. Like, were the ice walls the foundations of the very world or did they pop into existence? What are there any like legends or rumors about how the world came to be before, like in the
Oh, you cut
past?
out.
Like, I assume the god is a recent arrival based on what you're saying, like within the last few years or something. Um,
I think
but like
the ice walls themselves have always been there. Like you can't go far enough back that any person, writings, or anything can say
Yeah.
no, there was no ice wall.
As far as we were concerned, there was like before they showed up, no one knew what was over there.
Yeah.
it was just there isn't. What do you mean? There's not a world past there.
There's like 3 continents within the ice wall. Like there's a lot going on in our realm.
I think that 1 or 2 people, kind of like the Mountain Slayer, may have gone past it and claimed to come back, but there's a difference on whether or not others actually believe them or think that they're just crazy. Yeah.
There.
So beyond the ice is only myth.
Yeah, I'm adding
Yeah.
that to our notes. So, rumors that other people have gone beyond the ice. Nothing substantiated until this god showed up. We need a name for them.
God name generator.
God name.
Yeah.
God name generator.
Perfect.
Okay. I hit random a few times. I got Delo, Dehilos, god of charity.
Yeah.
Feels
I don't know. I kind of like it.
not bad.
Let's see here. Uktos, god of hope.
Okay.
Levias. Here, I'll post.
Oh, we're getting a link. Livius?
Here, I'll you
Post
so
the
you guys can
generator
also
link.
just
Then we'll all just
generate,
like
yeah.
spout out ideas at each other for this. Definitely
Thank you.
seemingly not a bad person, but also seemingly someone who you don't like.
Hubris, god of torture.
I mean, no matter what, it's going to end up being god of agriculture, I guess. So it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
first name. kind of.
Abium, Kelfin, Zodmus.
I like Nedtis, and then people just call him Ned. Like he's like the dude from Big Lebowski. He's just like, hey guys, just come out and farm. What you gotta
Kiara,
do?"
god of life. That's an option.
I do kind of like
Ooh.
Ned, the god of agriculture.
Just Ned, like, hey guys,
Hey.
chill out, man.
This-
He wants you to grow a specific
Yeah.
plant.
I don't think we're going to be interacting with this
let's-
with the gun.
No, we
'cause
just
I
need
feel
to-
like
We need, it'll be something name dropped rather than
yeah.
if you ever meet the god, something has gone very wrong in your
Very,
adventure.
very
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, we're fleeing. We heard tale of lands beyond the wall, and we're not here for whatever Ned has brought to the table.
Wait, I also got Otis.
Otis.
Yeah, just Otis, Otis.
Otis. Do we want also the god to be aggressively normal?
Yes, could the god just be a
Are all
normal
of the
ass
most
guy?
powerful people also aggressively normal in personality?
Oh no.
If you're
They're
playing it up, you're not that powerful.
Hmm. They're just like so chill, you know? They're just like, hey, how's it going? We're gonna vibe. You're gonna grow some
Otis is
weed."
fine.
Otis, god of agriculture.
I'm going with it. I might change it later, but for now,
Otis is probably short for a more godly name. We can.
Yes.
It's like Otis Maru or something.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
yep.
He's just like, call me Otis.
Oh, yeah, no one here could pronounce it. So
Yeah. Sorry, my name is like impronounceable to like mortal tongue. Just call me Otis. Like that's it.
perfect. So we have. You guys want to get past the wall one way or the other.
Yeah.
You've heard rumors of people doing that. You have personal reasons for wanting to get over the wall and escape this place. I have some ideas for that, but I think we'll touch on that in like backstory stuff.
Yeah, I'll be part of backstory.
Yeah.
I know what the Rat King's doing.
Yeah, Indigo, do you want to introduce your character ideas?
Yes,
Normally that's
so
later,
far I
but I
have-
think
yes,
you can't
I came
name
in with
drop.
exactly one sentence of prep, and it's the Rat King. And from this, I am on a holy pilgrimage for rats.
But not
Otis
a
has-
cleric.
Not a cleric, and the
cleric.
rat's son of a god. That doesn't mean they
No.
don't have a holy
The
pilgrim.
rats don't have a
You-
god; they have
You
a
want
king.
to be their god.
They have a king. Otis came with dogs.
Yeah, they're aggressively
Dogs did the-
monarchist.
Dogs were not here before Otis.
Before Otis.
Okay, hold
Alright.
on. Brought dogs with him.
And that is a problem for the rats.
I was gonna ask if you guys were allergic to dogs, but okay.
Cats. Why wouldn't Otis bring
We
cats?
can handle cats.
You can't handle
Cats are great.
dogs.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry is a documentary. Mice and rats can handle cats.
The rats have swords. What are you talking about?
Also that, yes.
Wait,
We
so
can
does that
handle
mean there's
cats.
no wolves in this world, or was it only wolves not domesticated?
Red wall is just happening under our floorboard.
Yes. But I, the Rat King, have risen from my smaller brethren, and I will shepherd us beyond the wall to a land
Alright.
of prosperity and grain.
Are you a rat person?
You're
I am a rat who is
Rat
now a
folk.
person.
Oh, you. What? How big are you?
Like 6'7", I was thinking.
yeah.
Huge.
Like
Absolutely massive and ripped.
yeah. You look more
No,
like a gorilla man than a rat man.
Yeah. I am the Rat King. I am not a lowly peasant.
Okay, wants to lead his people over the wall. So the entire so
Moses for rat.
I was gonna say you want to park the ice wall like the Red Sea kind of thing. So is the entirety of
dear.
rat kind rallying behind you and waiting for the fateful
That's
day?
why I'm so big.
Perfect.
Mm.
That's why I'm so big. There is not other rat people.
No,
You are the first.
you are the
I am
only,
the only.
rat person.
I am the Rat King.
Can we all just be a group of people that there's only one of in the world? I'm the
I mean,
only
that
girl,
is
you're the only rat king.
absolutely an extremely legitimate reason to want to leave. It could be from, like, I wonder if more of my people are over there, too. No, I kind of hate this place. Let's go.
This place sucks. Let's leave.
I'm definitely down to having weird things there, but I think that I would still stick with the easy answer of I will be human.
You're the only
You're
human.
like, I don't-
Perfect.
you're a token human.
I think the main populace is human.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you unique in another way, or are you unique in that you aren't unique amongst
In
the
this
the
group,
wall seekers or whatever they're
yes.
called?
In this group, yes, but I don't know how many other people are like leaving. We'll see.
If
So
there's
all the
been
wall
like
seekers are, like,
rumors of people
weird.
who found ways to cross the walls, so I'm guessing like it's they each have. There's probably people who are like aspiring wall seekers. I don't think it's a feasible profession.
It's not a profession.
It's-
no.
yeah, it's not a
the-
profession.
It's dream.
It's,
It's
an
like
extreme.
midlife crisis
It's a
level thing.
Yeah,
where-
combined with like an obscure hobby.
I was thinking combined
heard
with
you're-
the
they're
thing
a
your mom
wall
just
seeker.
tells you after your dad goes out for milk and cigarettes, he went
Off the
seeking the
wall.
wall.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, son. I'll be back.
And like
I'm
you can
just going
find the
to
wall all the
seek
time. Everyone knows
wall.
where the wall is. It means you're trying to
It's
see
huge. You
away
can see
over
it
the wall.
from
is what it
any
means.
continent.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
see
You
it
see
all
it
the
from-
time.
Yeah,
That
always
is
on
the
the horizon.
horizon, the wall.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
So funny.
Okay.
Just gonna go out to run to the store to get some wall. I'll be back.
Yeah. Okay.
I wonder if there are communities that have sprung up right next to the wall. Or
Uh,
is the
I
wall in
mean,
the middle of like the ocean?
It might be a good source of fresh water, legitimately, as like it's an ice
Yeah.
wall. There's probably like you don't have. There's probably mountains in the center of the continent. Of like, if you said there's like 3 continents, I'll write that down. Actually, 3 continents.
I like to imagine there's also part of the ice wall that is like built into a mountain, right? It's like the Everest. So like people say you could go up that way, but no one has like for sure made it through that way.
Like
Yeah,
you can
go
go
up that
up
way.
to the
There's
top
no
of Everest,
air.
but the wall's still higher.
But
Yeah.
the top of the you're right. The top of the mountain, the wall, there's a
Yeah.
difference. You cross the mountain, it's like, oh, now what?
Yeah.
Now
There's a
there's
bar
more
up
ice
there.
wall.
There's a
Now I
bar
can't
at the
breathe.
there's a
I
bar.
love that.
I like
Hold
there's
on.
there's a bar
There's
at
a
the top
bar
of
at the top.
There's like a tavern, yeah, at the top of the
There's a tavern at the
highest
top
mountain.
of the world.
Yeah.
The tavern at the top of the world is what it's
Yeah,
called.
but like the tavern has no back wall. The back wall is the ice
Is
wall.
the wall.
Yeah.
Wait, is that where we start? Can we start at the tavern at the top of the world?
Yes. You all meet in the
That sounds
tavern
great.
atop the world.
Oh, we've all just gone there thinking we could get through that way, but
Yeah.
it's very clear that is
bartender's
not an
like-
actual way through the wall. Everyone comes here, it's their whole business.
It
Yeah.
was a very good
There's like a gimmick,
advertising
like
gimmick.
get a pickaxe, start shoveling, wait 10 minutes, it'll like regenerate or something weird. Like you're not going through.
Yeah, they have like a
There's just
photo
a-
op where it's just a
No, I
pickaxe
think
in the
it's-
wall and you
I
hold
think
onto
it's
it.
meaner. It's a pseudo medieval world. It's a lot darker than that. There's a guy that'll sell you climbing axes, like behind, like around back. And his whole business is he just resells the climbing axes to
Mm.
people that just tumble straight down from, like, he has a roped off sectional wall and will sell you climbing axes that hundreds of people have
Yeah,
already
and then
used.
when gets rid of the body, keeps the axe, resells it.
How do you think the tavern at the top of the world gets their food?
So, first thing I had to think of is even though it's a medieval thing, people have probably tried to just use pickaxes to dig through the wall. Why will that never work? Why is it not that simple?
I like the idea that it's not like it's like ice, but it's like weird ice where like anything you hit, you like if you hit a pickaxe at it, it'll break the pickaxe.
I like that. I have a better idea.
Yeah, super
Giant
strong.
sandworm-like ice worms live in the wall, and if you bother them, they will bury out of the
Worms.
wall, eat you, and then dig back into the wall.
Yeah. But like, I like the idea that the worms are the wall's repair feature too.
Yes, like
Yeah, they
when,
like-
once
Yeah.
they dig back into the wall, it's good as new.
Yeah, they like secrete whatever and it freezes.
Perfect. Okay.
And I think that there is a little bit of both. Like it's a matter of it is also a special kind of ice that can't be hit.
Yeah, it's super. It's magic,
It's very hard, but it's also like if you
World-
do get
yeah.
through it,
world magic, but you
disturb
can.
the worms.
You can. It's just better if you don't.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Perfect.
Do we want to make this a dungeon delve? Because maybe at the tavern at the top of the world, the tavern at the top of the wall, there's like a dungeon that you could go through that people say
Yeah.
that's the way out.
I like
think-
the
I like
idea
that
that
being
we
a
have to
tourist
venture
trap.
back. I like
Yeah,
the
tourist
idea that we have to. Yeah, I like the idea that we have to venture back into the world and hunt down some like rumors and leads.
You all meet. So you guys will have established bonds together already. I like the idea that we start the game. You're all in the tavern after having met and done the tourist trap dungeon, and then gotten back and been like, "Well, that was a waste of time."
I'm out all my money.
That's my idea.
There's just
Yeah.
like 80 kobolds in there that rob you blind.
Yeah. They set up a whole like marketplace that's selling you like useless stuff.
And your stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
your stuff they beat you up to take.
Okay, kobolds. Hold on, I'm adding in kobolds.
Yeah.
Kobold scam artists.
Kobold scam
Kobolds are a-
artists.
That's the
Oh,
kobold is
oh,
also the one that
wait.
sells you the bits.
Yeah,
Get up
yeah.
the ice
I think
wall.
kobolds are the mountain people, like the people in the mountains.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like humans
Okay.
live down on the land, and there's kobolds up in the mountains.
They're cold weather resistant for some reason. Okay.
Yeah, they're all
Everyone
descended
knows
from like
lizards-
frost dragons.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say everyone knows
So
lizards
it's
are.
why you
are
actually have
better
to be
against-
nice to the kobolds that steal all your stuff because you know their
They
frost
will tell
dragon
great-grandma.
patron is right next
Yeah,
door.
yeah, the
They will tell
frost dragon
Yeah.
grandfather.
That's how they
Yeah.
gather gold for the
They-
dragon grandma is by ripping everyone off.
Yeah, but like they're, I think, snotty brats about it as a people.
Wait, can the dragon run the tavern? That'd be awesome.
I don't think we see the dragon.
I don't think we see the dragon quite
Yeah.
yet.
Otherwise, humans would never go.
That's fair.
I was gonna say, if you see the dragon would be like always sleeping unless they get angry. Like they're just yeah. Okay.
Kobold society is built on the sentence, "Don't make me wake up, Grandma."
Yeah.
Like Kobold society is built on the back of that sentence.
They chill the drinks with Grandma's snores. They just like there's like a vent that the snores that chills the drinks.
I can imagine some of them have like a small frost breath themselves if they're more directly descended. But yes.
Yeah, they could
predisposition to ice magic or whatever.
Who still are around. Sleeping kobolds build communities around their sleeping dragon ancestors. Perfect. Anything else with the world? You guys went and did the dungeon, got mugged by the kobolds.
Yeah.
What rumors have you heard about the world? Like, okay, well, where do we try going next? We don't know anything about elves or dwarves if they even exist, so I don't know if there's a solution with either of them.
I think
we don't
there's
even know if people
something
live
about
in like I don't know, ancestral segregated areas. The kobolds live on the mountains.
Do we need more peoples?
I don't know.
Nah.
That's up to you.
I mean, we have 3 continents. That's a lot of
We-
people.
But like we have anywhere between 5 and 10 on Earth, depending on who's counting.
Fair.
So
I always view fantasy worlds usually as much smaller than Earth.
yeah,
I think
but
there's
I'm just
definitely been a
arguing.
rumor of at least one wizard who has been developing the most powerful fire spell, or whatever ritual it will be, that will melt through the wall and will actually get people through.
Yeah, wizards are a thing. We said that wizards specialize in magic. There's magic abound. Is there like a wizard organization? I feel like now might be the time for characters, because that's where we're gonna flesh out some of these more.
Okay, I'm good with that. So, I think we've set our classes. I don't think we've all set our classes.
We've decided our classes.
We've decided our
past that.
classes.
Yeah.
Jordan, you're the wizard. Inigo, you're a fighter.
Yes.
And Marissa, you chose rogue?
I did choose rogue. I was left with cleric and bard and rogue, and rogue was the answer.
All right. I'm gonna move this question actually a bit down here, but you next, now that I've slightly rearranged things, the next choice, the next step on our character creation first session list is read your origins questions. So each class has some like 3 categories things: ancestry, culture, and background. So the first each has its own set of questions. They're all customized for each class partly. So ancestry, for example, all of them say, what do you look like? How does your ancestry affect your biology, behavior, and communication? And then the fighter adds on, how does your ancestry affect how you fight? And everyone has something like that. And then there's also culture, which is unique per class. The fighter has how respected are warriors in your culture, what unique weapons, styles, or tactics does your culture practice, and background. I think everyone asks, how was your life before adventuring? And the fighter asks, what caused you to take up the sword? Was it demanded of you, or did you reach for it despite everything? Basically, did you say no, and other people around you said, yes, be a fighter? Or did everyone else around you say, no, don't be a fighter, and you said, I'm going to be a fighter? So you don't have to like exposit all of these to the group now. They're welcome to if you want to. It's more like think about these as you make your character. Does anyone want to talk about or ask questions about any of these questions in here? Can everyone read their questions? This is my first thing I should ask.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I be quiet for a moment while you read them, or should we move on?
I'm trying to figure out how to spell tabard. You know, like the thing you wear over.
Tabard.
Yeah, Tabard.
World of Warcraft has taught me that, at least.
I'm still getting a
little red line.
A spell check, and that's distressing me. But
It's TABARD. Sleeveless jerkin consisting only of front and back pieces with a hole for the head.
Yep, no,
Yeah.
that's correct. Roll20 dictionary is rather limited.
Yeah, we went over my look. I'm a 6'7" humanoid rat. I have a steel crown and a red tabard. No, I am not wearing pants. Have you ever seen a rat in pants?
All right. Does the tabard depict a specific like coat of arms, or is it just like plain?
Yeah,
red?
it's a rat king. It's a red tabard with a yellow circle and negative spaced on the yellow circle is a rat king, like in a classical sense of like 8 rats in a circle with their tails in a knot.
You're like rats together strong.
Together strong.
But also you're stronger.
But I'm stronger. I am the rat king.
You're like the emperor of ratkind, basically.
Yeah.
Rat Warhammer.
Yep. I love it.
Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a matching steel signet ring as well, obviously, that matches the logo on the tabard for official, declarations and
Yes.
royal correspondence.
As you do.
So, do the entirety of all rats follow you?
They will. They must. For I am the Rat King.
If they don't,
Those
they
who
will
don't know,
learn
we
to-
summarily executed.
Also, they're this big, and I'm 6'7" with a giant sword. So their opinion is meaningless in this exchange.
Perfect.
So you're part of the might makes right crowd.
We'll
Yeah.
figure out in backstory, but I half want to know how you were created, or did you just like, I don't know, hatch from an egg like all normal rats?
Can I give you?
I think
can I
it's
give you a
will-
suggestion for that?
I was thinking mostly willpower.
Okay, I was thinking
Of the
or
rat
that or
people.
rat puberty affected you way more than most.
Rat puberty got weird.
I was thinking like all the rats collectively thought we need a rat king, and then you are what coalesced,
You were literally like wished into being
made by rat belief.
your people.
That's basically what I was thinking too. They saw the dogs. They realized there's
We
a
need
hero
a champion.
needed. We need a champion
hero.
of rats.
I love it.
And
And the champion's goal is let's get out of here.
I can't find
That
all
is
the dogs.
Let's be fair. That is what a rat champion does.
Yeah.
Rat
You know what? That
champions
is fair.
do not. They
You
flee.
you can fight if necessary, but yeah, your goal is to flee. Perfect.
Yeah.
The hidden lore of the Skaven. We just found it.
Yep.
Well, they worship disease, and that's a different rat
That's fair.
peoples.
That's yeah.
We don't talk about those rat guys.
Yeah. So culture is just I am the Rat King.
Perfect.
Culture. I'm the rat king. That's it.
Rat King.
And then
The summoned
the next
will.
question was be like, who were you before you became an adventurer? But it sounds like you didn't exist before you became an adventurer. You came into being to find a way over the wall, I think. Or did you try to do something before to save
No,
Ratkind?
I was a normal rat
Perfect.
with a
And then-
humble brood of 40 children. You know.
And then you were chosen by I don't know smell
Rats.
lottery to ascend to
Proximity.
Rat Kingdom.
I was most
Hold
central.
on, you have
of the
40
rats.
children. I'm writing that down.
Listen, they'll never be able to hold your children for ransom because they'll need at least 21 to threaten your life.
Yeah.
You have 40 children who are normal rats. You have now. I guess my next question is: how intelligent is the average rat? Is this like Ratatouille? Like they're actually just
No.
as intelligent as people?
Regular
Regular
Just regular rats.
Okay.
rats. Really don't like dogs.
This game is already off the rails. We haven't even started.
I am not surprised, but weirdly enough, I can work with this.
I'm not trying to throw monkey wrenches in this
No,
world.
this is good with me. You have a shared goal.
Yeah, this is
We didn't
great.
really have as much of one last time, so okay. Anything else, Indigo, do you want to talk about ancestry, culture, background?
But how is life before adventuring? Boring. What caused you to take up the sword? The reason I was born. Was it demanded of you, or did you reach for it despite everything? A little bit of both.
Perfect.
You have to want to be the Rat King to be the Rat King.
Yeah, you said it was out of pure willpower, so the reason you were the one to become the Rat King was because you wanted it the most.
I wanted it the most.
Yeah,
They wanted a savior, and I wanted to be the savior.
that's perfectly fine. There won't be any problems there.
No. There won't be any rival rat lords to threaten your rule.
And I will behead them. The other important factor about the Rat King is, what is the maximum regular person sword size?
Like a single-handed sword or a two-handed sword?
No, two-handed decapitation sword. Like something
The
that...
maximum size for some, like, probably
How big?
4 feet? That's still
We're just
quite
gonna say my
sizable at 4
favorite
feet.
sword. What is...
Like
How
3
big
feet's
are
already
those?
3. Like, honestly, 2 to 3 feet sword is pretty standard, I think.
If you want like a great sword, like you could have a Zweihander.
You could go full Zweihander.
I want the sillier German swords. I want Kriegmeister, a war knife.
Kriegmesser? Oh,
Yeah, it's because it comes from a weird medieval law where you weren't allowed to open carry swords, but
but
Kriegmasters
they
are
just
only
made really
sharpened.
long knives.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, I tried to Google it.
31 inches.
Can you send me a link to
4
what
foot
this
5.
is?
4'5". Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I'm trying to Google
I'll-
it based on the phonetics, and it's showing me coffee machine results.
Here, I googled this. Yeah.
Oh, with a K. You know what? I actually wasn't bad, but I don't think it realized the C versus the K.
Yeah, they're like sword knives, and they're
Yeah.
hilarious.
Giant sword knives.
Yeah, they're like a
Excellent.
4.5 foot knife. It's great. All right, yeah, I got a giant one-sided sword.
Okay.
You wield with 2 hands. I will decapitate any and all rat lords ascending.
Rat usurpers.
Yeah, those are traitors.
Yes. Okay, anyone else want to talk about any of their ancestry, culture, background? I know we have ideas for our characters.
Sure, I'll do mine. I'm doing ancestry. I'm a golem, but I'm built by dwarves because that's the picture I chose.
There's
Perfect.
dwarves too?
Yeah, we'll make dwarves. They just live underground.
They're just
They
chilling.
just live underground?
Yeah, they just live
That's it? They're just people that live underground dwarves.
They're like mole people.
Hold on.
So are they stuck here?
Dwarves are like mole people. Perfect.
They're not like literally mole people,
No.
but they look like dwarves, but they just are always underground. They just are
Do
like I'm
people-
I
staying
look
in
like
the
So-
earth.
dwarves.
I have another right.
You mean
That's good with me.
4 by
In terms
4?
of mole people, are they also like rumored to exist, but most people don't believe dwarves are real? Or
Ooh, I like that.
Okay, let's go.
People don't think dwarves exist. Let's just hit all the conspiracy theories while we're in
At
the
once.
conspiracy world.
Perfect.
People don't
Yeah.
think
It
dwarves
would make
exist.
a fantasy chemtrail.
Can elves be the lizard people of this world?
I don't think we-
where people were like elves
They
are
like are like
infiltrating-
shapeshifters.
Ooh, I do like elven shapeshifters.
but they can't hide their
Only
beauty
vaguely
that
related.
much. Glamorous.
I recently picked up a new fantasy book that came out, and the conceit for elves there is that they are the great enemy of humans because the elven god has mandated that they eat all of humanity.
Oh, okay. That's
I can
So
understand
very
why that would
specific.
make the great
There's-
enemy.
Yeah, there's an everlasting war against the elves because their goal is to eat us.
Yeah.
because they were told to.
Yes,
Perfect.
Okay.
by
So
elf god, it's great.
what do you look like? I literally look like a stone dwarf, but a golem,
How
covered in
tall?
runes. 3 feet tall.
3 feet tall.
Yeah.
A 3 foot tall rock man covered in
Yeah,
ruins.
Covered in runes. How does your ancestry affect your biology, behavior, and communication?
It is.
Yeah.
How
It's
does
all
it?
through
Yeah.
Literally everything. How does it affect how you cast your spells? How you cast or study spells. I just have to read. I gotta find new runes if I want to do new spells, or I just write down runes, or I use like my hands like Iron Man. They have like runes on my palms.
Perfect.
Nice.
So you're a rune caster in this case as a wizard.
Yeah,
and
basically.
And based on what we described of the old magic, that's what wizards are in this.
Oh, you cut out again.
You're
that's
cutting out
what-
in and out periodically, but you cut out just there.
Yeah.
Weird. Based on how you described the old magic, that's what wizards are in this, is basically rune casters all
Yeah.
right? Okay.
I'm just made out of runes.
Yeah, like a normal wizard will inscribe a rune on the back of their wand.
Yeah.
To, like,
Yeah, that'll.
I
have
think
a, have
that
a spell
like
or whatever.
no,
you
yeah.
carved it on you because you're made of that.
Oh, I didn't do it.
You didn't.
yeah.
And I suspect there's like I don't think there's a safe way to tattoo runes on you. Like you can do it,
Probably not.
but like if you do it perfectly and it doesn't go one of 100 terribly wrong ways, like I don't have a tattoo and I don't intend to get one, so correct me if I'm wrong, but tattoos like slowly change as you age, right? That's normal? Yeah. If if you have a ruin tattoo to slowly change as you age, that probably
That's true.
triggers horrifying mutations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that tattoos actually work is that the ink literally stays in your skin, and as the cell dies by something else eating it, the ink particle remains.
Yeah.
So that way, if you want to like get rid of that tattoo, what the laser does is like break the ink
breaks it up.
particle. And,
Yeah.
that's what the lasers do. But anyway, because it's a process of your body constantly rejecting and absorbing the ink, they will slowly like spread out over, decades.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
But for delicate magical formulae, that if you do it wrong, your arm blows up.
Yeah.
Not a good idea unless you
Not a
like
good idea.
unless it's like, yeah, you got this week to live, so have a magic tattoo.
Yeah, that is, I am trapped in a dungeon kind of desperation.
Yeah, let me carve runes into my arms.
Yeah.
That
Get
is
outta
trapped
here.
in a dungeon desperation. That is not
Yeah.
standard practice.
Perfect.
But it doesn't matter. You're a rock man.
Yeah, you're a golem. You're made of
Yep.
rock? Yeah, rock man.
Yeah. Rock man.
What kind of rock?
Yeah, do you care or know
Slate.
what time? Slate. Okay.
That's
Ignis.
the one that popped in my head was slate rock.
Ignis rock.
Ignis.
Like,
Whatever
I
is deep into the earth is the rock I'm made out of.
I caught
Well,
myself
if
before I
Ignis is
said
the-
it, but I'm still gonna say it. I dig it.
What belief for common practice? Oh wait, no, this is culture. Sorry. So culture, I'm gonna do dwarven because he was made by dwarves. How's your culture view the study of magic? Was it openly supported, hid away in secret, or openly taboo? What belief or common practice of your people relates to the arcane directly or indirectly? I would imagine it's pretty open because he was made by dwarves to be a magical thing. I just think they're doing weird shit down there. We can see.
No one's quite clear what the dwarves do down there. I think that's
Yeah.
where a lot of the issues with dwarves come from, is that no one's quite sure what they're doing down at their little holes. It's just
Yeah.
like, we don't know, and sometimes little rock men come out, or
Nope, I'm the only one that came out.
are you the only one that's you're the only
Yeah,
rock
the
man
only
that's
You
rock
can
come
tell
out.
people you came from the dwarves, and no one will believe you.
Yeah. They'll be like, why do you look so weird? I'm like, I was made by dwarves. They're like,
Yeah, sure.
no,
buddy.
for real. Oh yeah, and I saw the elf change in front of me.
Yep. Excellent.
Yeah, so open supported, at least there are. I think they're like weird little like scientists down there. There's like, what if I did this to the rune, like behind like a glass pane, like with a long stick to see what would happen?
Is this something that they like, is that proclivity to do weird experiments in various ways something that they have the luxury of doing due to being relatively safe and fine, or is this something that like they really shouldn't be doing but really still do anyways?
No, it's definitely the second one. I am imagining they are like stuck in their holds and they're just like bored. They're like, I mean, we have runes. What? I wonder if I like. What if I cross like the ice rune with the steam rune? I wonder what that would do.
All right.
They're just playing Magicka down
Yeah,
there.
but I guess if they're bored, that means that they like don't have issues as you don't need farming all the time like all the humans do. Like whatever.
No, they probably just eat like ore or something.
Perfect. So yeah,
No,
Like,
they eat
literally
root
eat rocks.
I was gonna say
I
they could
think
just
that
they
they-
could just eat root vegetables and grow mushrooms or something. But
I played so much Dwarf Fortress. They clearly eat root vegetables.
carrots, all the
Yeah.
carrots.
Yeah,
They're eating
and
root
like
vegetables. They're
potatoes.
eating
I think
mushrooms.
occasionally
They could also
because
be literally omnivorous and omnivorous, and that's why things are relatively easy for them.
Mm.
Like
oh yeah, they'll eat anything, like literally anything.
Yeah, literally anything.
perfect.
Yeah,
They're like the
I
goat.
Vegetables, dirt, rocks. It's all good.
Yeah. Energy is energy. I think rock might be the only thing that is like unnutritious.
Depends on the rock, probably.
Yeah. I still think dwarves are responsible for distillation. I played too much Dwarf Fortress to believe dwarves can survive sober.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if they're literally omnivorous, they might
they do
get
distill
drunk off
rock,
of different
yes.
things.
I
Yeah.
think they also, well, we've established they go hog wild with their magic experimentation. They can eat anything. I'm assuming the trend continues into their
Yeah.
distillation practices, where
they go, "I wonder
will
what
make
happens if
booze
I-"
out of anything.
Those weird, like binge drinking magic parties.
Yeah, they go, hey, that lizard like fell down here like 2 years ago and died. It's rotting. I'm gonna make booze out of it. Like, that's what they
What
do.
what if I distill the rot into a beverage, and that way
Yeah.
we can drink
And for the
intensified,
dwarves,
concentrated
that's
rot.
fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, there's a reason
Yeah.
no one. If anyone believed in dwarves, they would, at best, they would die if they drank their alcohol.
Yeah. I think dwarves are hospitable. Now that we're talking too much about dwarves, a character in which we have no players of, in a society of which we will probably not explore, I
Yeah.
think they're big on, because they live in their holes, you said, and they're bored in their holes. I'm assuming
Yeah.
a dwarven life is very isolated, so when they do meet someone else in the deep, I think there's a
They're
little
just like, "Oh,
party
hey."
every time.
Yeah.
Every time you share whatever you have, whenever you meet anyone else in the deep. So I
Yes.
think anyone who explores down there inevitably finds dwarves and inevitably dies due to
Because
dwarven
of a party.
hospitality. Because of dwarven hospitality.
So
I
there's all these
love
rumors
it.
about the dwarves will bring you in and they'll kill you, and they go, no, they drank our beer and it killed them immediately.
Yep.
Did you know people are allergic to heavy metals?
But the dwarves
I
don't
gave
really
him,
stop
I gave
doing
him a
it.
pint of our lead beer and he died.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Who doesn't like a good leaded beer?
Yeah. He ate a pound of uranium cakes and then, I don't know, he just sort of died.
I love it. Okay.
They're super friendly, but they will not take no for an answer about the
Yeah, very
Dwarven
insistent.
Yeah.
Even
Dwarven
if they-
hospitality is deadly.
Yeah, I think, given everything else, do they even do they remember that it will kill you, or is it like culturally, even if it kills you, it's better to eat it? It's more polite to eat this and die.
I like to think that like they experiment so much they don't know what killed you. They're just
No.
like, oh, that's
Oh.
weird, it killed him.
And they
Like,
also
okay, they're
only ever
allergic to
see
lead, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's dwarf to dwarf. I don't think there's a centralized system.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
Like,
for
one
the
dwarf
dwarves,
might
there's
learn
like
this.
rumors that the surface dwellers are weirdly fragile. We think.
They're like so fragile.
But they're not really sure why.
Yeah, it's just a big
Yeah,
mystery.
They have no reason to go up to the surface because they have everything they want and need down
Yeah.
there. They just get bored sometimes.
Yep. Perfect.
So, speaking of, they just get bored sometimes. That's kind of my character in a nutshell.
And then the last thing for my backstory. Oh no, wait, for background, I put he's an experiment. He was made because they got bored one day and went, what if we just like made a giant thing
What
with
if
as many
we-
runes as we could think of?
And then I'm guessing, given what you were describing, they did not know you would become sentient.
Yeah. And they're like, hey.
And then, can you eat or drink?
Oh, yeah.
You can eat or drink. Okay.
Yeah. Listen, in my mouth, there is a void hole, a void glyph.
It's a sphere of annihilation, basically.
Yeah. That's what it is. I have no stomach.
You have no stomach.
No need for
Can you
sustenance.
taste?
No. They didn't put tasting roots in my mouth.
Perfect. But you
Just
can,
the ones
you
required to participate in drinking games.
If you want to be
Yes.
technical about it, you don't consume things, you destroy them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, technically.
I love it. All right.
Some say a great dwarven alchemist is still working on a way to get you drunk.
Oh, absolutely.
That sounds
honestly,
amazing. Also,
Go
the
ahead.
most dangerous part about you is apparently just eating something.
Yeah, you bite
Because once
something
that
and the
happens,
arm's
nothing goes.
gone.
Yeah.
You probably have to swallow
Well,
or
it's
something.
like a teeny tiny sphere of
It's like a
annihilation.
normal mouth hole. It's not
Yeah.
like
Normal. Yeah. It's like
Yeah, so I
somewhere
would
in your
just be a
stomach.
chunk.
Yeah. Perfect.
It's so funny because it works totally into the backstory that I chose.
Excellent. But before we get to backstory, Marissa, tell us about your character.
All right. Let's go to the questions over here. Ancestry. What do you look like? I am a human. I am a normal female human. There is absolutely nothing unusual about me. It's one of those, hey, look, pick someone out of the lineup. That person looks kind of like everybody else. That person is definitely it when it's just they're all the same. How does your ancestry affect biology, behavior, communication? We're going simple here. Again, human.
The humanest
and in
human
what
who's ever human, it sounds like.
exactly that is what I'm going for, and in this party, that is apparently unusual.
As a
Seems
rogue,
like it's useful
blending
to have
in would never be useful as a rogue.
No. In what ways does your ancestry help and hinder your tricks of the trade? I kind of just said it. Yeah. Culture. Were you raised around criminals? No, not really. My family were merchants in a relatively middling town. We went and did caravans around to other places a while. How harshly does your culture punish crimes? I think that the crime culture is pretty normal to what we'd expect. Like, yeah, you're not going to be cutting off hands for thievery necessarily, but you are going to get chucked in jail. I think that the culture around crimes has gotten a lot more harsh since we got this new god in, because prosperity should be earned, not just taken. And so there's a slow, even while they're not directly like saying change the laws this way, there's a slow kind of like,
Was it
hey, no,
crackdown?
I worshipped the god. I did this thing. How dare you take this from me? More so than there was before.
Yeah, so there's a bit more of like an anti-crime sentiment more aggressively than there used to be.
There's hope in the world, so crime is more more punished.
Awful thing, Hope. Yeah.
It's horrible for business.
Oh, I think that, again, I'm going to skip a little bit down to background, then back up to culture, because it's going to be easier. So the background that I'm kind of envisioning is, okay, middle-class merchant family. I think that I, again, just got bored, and every so often as we were wandering around, I would basically steal things. Because that was fun, because it got a little bit of attention, because, hey, stuff is neat to have. It got, my family would tend to pay people off, like before it got to the judge, just here, have the thing back, or what, to the point where if anything went missing anywhere that I was, even if I had absolutely nothing to do with it, it was an assumption of, oh, better go apply to them, they'll give you the money for it. For some reason, family got a little sick of this. And with the law getting harsher, it became more and more of a problem. So, are you a criminal in their eyes? Yes, very much so. Though not necessarily the same as, that person is murderer. Not organized crime.
All right. Just typing some of that up. So they kicked you out eventually? Instead, get lost.
I think it was kind of an ultimatum of, either finally do something useful and stop, or we're not paying for you again. And so I think there was probably one last, say heist, but that's way too grand. One last act of
Hurrah.
larceny that I realized I wasn't going to get away with, because I've never bothered to actually try getting away with these things at this point. So now I have the thing. I've just broken the ultimatum. Better get out of here.
Perfect. I'm typing some of that up, but we'll recap it, I'm sure, later. What did you steal? You said you stole something as an ultimatum. Was it something? Did it matter what you stole? I guess is my first question.
I think it did matter. I don't know what it is. Any ideas are welcome.
I have a dumb idea.
Let's hear it.
You stole the bucket from the well, and that was the only bucket for the well.
If you're a middle class family, that doesn't feel.
I think that's
No.
a little bit too low.
No,
But,
you're middle class, but the town is poor, so you stole the poor people's bucket.
Eh.
I feel like that's a little bit too easy to replace, so I do like the idea of it. Ooh, if it was some sort of special bucket. This place doesn't have access to water. The well is stupid deep. But this bucket is a magical bucket that is getting water from significantly lower down.
We established
Yeah, you
that there is
compromise.
magic, so you stole a bucket with a rune or something inscribed on
Yeah,
it. That
Ooh, like a water rune on the
it's
bucket.
basically
magical
it's like
bucket.
endless decanter of water, but it's technically teleporting the water up from a well below.
You cut out again.
You have just stopped
Yeah.
cutting out.
Something's up with
But yeah.
Discord, I think, specifically, because I think it's
Mm.
still coming through on.
I kind of like the idea of tying it into the dwarves there. It's like this well was dug very, very deep, but deeper than you could actually get. So at this point, they finally said, fine, okay, we're just going to lower the bucket down. And this bucket, for some reason, when it comes up filled with water. Kind of like you lower it down 10 feet, but the bucket's actually gone down 1,000 feet.
Yeah, you compromise the town's water supply of some.
Yeah.
You're no longer welcome in that town that you grew up in.
Yep. How do I sound now?
Yeah.
I'll sound the same on the stream, but how do I sound to you guys now? I think it looks like Discord had automatically determined input sensitivity on, which means I think that's why it was cutting out.
That's what it was. Yeah.
We'll tell
Okay.
you if you start cutting out again. It was kind of intermittent.
Okay. So you stole the town's water
Magical
access.
Yeah.
Magical water.
A water MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I still
Do you still have that with
the
you?
bucket. Yeah. I think that it's not necessarily the bucket that's magical, but the rope. Again, I kind of like you lower it 10 feet, it goes 1,000, and that has way too many pointless and also kind of fun applications.
Very useful but very niche.
Yeah. And so yeah, I've still got it with me. It's
Yeah.
tied onto the backpack.
Could you have just chucked the bucket and kept the rope? Or is the bucket always attached to the rope?
I think the bucket's always attached to the rope. I think it's just kind of tied onto the backpack handle, and the rope is neatly coiled.
Or the knot itself is part of the magic, and so you can't really untie them.
The knot
like
itself
accordion knot?
is the way it's tied is the rune.
Oh, it's tied in a rude shape, and that's what gives it
Yeah.
the magic?
With thread in the
so.
rope or something at that point of the rope.
The whole thing.
No, the specific knot, when you look at it, it looks like the rune of
I both like
and
the
then they
specific knot
cover it
being
in resin
and,
so it can't adjust as it.
Yeah.
extra thread little bits woven in there to make sure
Yeah.
it stays.
So rope and bucket together forever. Excellent. All right. So that's our ancestries, cultures, and backgrounds. The next thing that we do
Backstory.
is choose your backstory. Yes. So backstory is the aspect of your character's past that's most relevant to current and future adventures. So you can incorporate it into the world during play. But for now, your class has 3 suggested backstories. If you said, no, I refuse all of them, you can look at the others and use them because they aren't inherent to your class. There's at the very end of the document is a big list of all the backstories that are currently in. I actually already have all classes' backstories written up, but for sanity's sake, I've only added the ones for the classes currently in the game.
Oh, lame. Okay. Do. So that was where I feel like I need to throw a wrinkle in Rat King's single devotion to his goal of his people. I feel like this is the point where picking one that doesn't align with the rat pilgrimage is the interesting answer.
Ooh, you could take with a cleric one. A group of people greatly revere you as a hero or savior.
Who leads them?
that-
Because it's not you.
Yeah.
Could be something. That's an option. You could be rejected by an important friend, family member, or community because of your faith in yourself.
Yes.
That's another cleric one.
I have mine picked if you want me to go
Sure.
Yeah.
I chose, you were once involved with an obscure arcane cabal who wants you either back or gone. Who were you to them? What do you know of their plans? You might resolve this by destroying or subjugating them. Yeah, he was made by this like group of dwarves, and he was like their drinking buddy, and then he's like, hey, I wanna see what's up there. And they're like, nah, you don't nah. And so they want him back to like still party with them.
Perfect. The dwarves want you back to party.
Yeah. Legend has been told of the party golem who he can ingest anything and not die like the surface dwellers.
Yep. Wins every drinking contest.
Look, we made a friend.
We literally made a friend.
Yeah.
Yup.
Perfect. I love it. Anyone else? Have you chosen your backstory?
I mean, the clear folly for me is one of the bard backstories, I think. You're famous to the point of being a household name. One of the few, only a few of the many stories circulating about you have games of truth. What is the best part of your fame? What is the wildest tale you've heard? Finish this by falling from grace or adopting a new identity, and I think that's hilarious for a single-minded devotee to themselves.
Perfect.
What if I don't want to be Rat King anymore?
What if I don't want to be the Rat King?
Yep. Will you toss your crown aside? That works perfectly well. I like it.
What if you become Rat Commissar Comrade?
You're the Rat King, and everyone's like, I've heard of you. But then whatever they've heard of you is almost
Wrong.
entirely inaccurate. There's probably different
I'm so
interpretations of what
torn.
a Rat King even is. Okay.
Yeah, I just like the idea of being famous, and I like the idea of failing all of Rat kind.
I dig it. Okay, so that's your chosen backstory. Marissa.
I think I'm also going to pick something from the wizard there. You've been researching an important mystery and are close to a breakthrough. What are you researching? The ice wall. What makes it dangerous? We have already gone into that. What do you need to take the next step? Finding a specific person who there have been rumors about in a way to break through.
Is this that
Break the
wizard
cycle.
that is researching at the fire spell drill thing, or is this something else?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Wants to find an absurdly fiery name. Let's call her Pyra. No, that's overdone with Xenoblade. Something as absurdly like someone who.
Fuego.
Sorry?
Fuego.
Fuego? Perfect.
Fuego. Fuego.
I think that they're well,
the Great
I think they're
Fuego.
probably an elf, but who says?
I mean, you're gonna accuse them of being an elf? Or are they openly an elf?
I like the idea that there are no elves. There's only
Yeah,
like,
elves are
huge-
actually not real in this world. Yeah. Okay, so dwarves are real, but no one thinks they're real. Elves aren't real, but people think they are. People think they are like lizard people. Done.
So funny.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Okay, backstories.
Anything too old or unusual is an ancient elven artifact.
It's clearly elvish, yes. Yeah.
People would call me an elvish artifact.
Yeah. Okay, well, the next thing to do is customize your feature. So each of your classes has a feature which has like choose 2, I think it's for all of them, out of 6 to 8 things listed there. So you can take a look through them, ask questions about you have them. The fighter's the most straightforward one because it's entirely self-contained. The rogue and wizard's features tie into the other starting moves they get. The fighter's one is just, you're good at fighting. Here's like 8 different ways how you're good at fighting. Pick 2.
Cool.
Yeah, I picked out my my spell schools already.
Yeah, so I guess the wizard stuff isn't publicly yet. So do you want to explain how it's your class? Do you want to explain how the wizard works as the person playing the wizard?
Sure. So as the wizard, you get tricks of the trade.
Nope, that's the rogue name for it. Let me fix that. But the rest of it's accurate.
Aha.
Keep going. Read out the rest while I put in the correct name.
The feature is to be determined in 20 seconds. So you choose an arcane school. Each school has specific substances in parentheses after their name, few related verbs, and then you have learned or mastered. You learn 2 schools during character creation, and then when you cast spells, you use the verb or the
Substance.
It's like the substance and then the verb. Right? So I chose evocation and transmutation. So evocation is elemental energies, transmutation is matter, and because I have learned them, evocation gives me channel or give shape, transmutation gives me repair or temporarily change. So I could, I don't know, temporarily change fire or channel gold.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Could you explain to me channeling gold?
That's what I would ask. When you create the effect, I will ask that.
And then I will roll to see how well I do.
Yes.
Cool.
So
I picked my 2 abilities.
It's similar to hacking in Cities Without Number.
Yeah, that's one of the things that inspired it. But actually, I played it recently when making Dungeon World 2. But the other designer, Helena, is the one who actually made this. And then I came in, she made the first draft of this system. And I was like, this is just like this. I just finished playing a hacker and I loved it. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So there is magic dungeons. There are astral.
There are no magic
astral
dungeons.
Networks. Astral networks.
No,
Rude networks.
hacking.
Rude
Please, no.
Yes, give me hacker dungeon.
I roll in.
It would be a mini game with each. It's like a grid of ruins that you have to like navigate through.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a video game mini game.
Yeah.
So much ink rolls.
Yeah, no, it's not quite like that. It's the
As
part
you said,
of hacking we liked.
boring.
Your powers are boring? Is that a good thing?
Yep.
You chose the boring ones?
I picked Duelist, because I am the Rat King, and none shall stand and oppose me.
Perfect. So
which
you
is
were really good at fighting
someone
one-on-one. Yep.
Which seems appropriate for the Rat King, because I'm assuming most fights are people I have challenged to some degree.
Yep, that's fair.
The other one is Hamstring.
Ooh.
When I engage a threat, I can also stop them from escaping until you defeat them.
Actually, it says until they defeat you.
I am reading it differently.
Okay. Excellent. No doubts.
Maybe that's how you hamstring, but rats don't play that way.
Perfect. Excellent. So we have our wizard schools and we have our fighter tactical maneuvers. Those ones are called. What do we got for the rogue?
As the rogue, I actually have tricks of the trade. And I chose Legerdemain, which is cheat, distract, pickpockets, and plant items, and Spycraft, disguise, encrypt, forge fakes, and impersonate.
Those are the 2 tricks you are an expert in. And
Yes.
perfect. So, each of you guys have your starting moves. Quickly read through them. Ask me if you have any questions. Let me know if you don't know what any of these are referring to, because I am adding hyperlinks to, like, there's a rogue move called Cloak and Dagger, which links and buffs the sneak move, which is currently named Slip Past. So there's a hyperlink in the text that links to the Slip Past move, so you don't have to go scrolling for it. If there's any missing, let me know. It'll make it easy to read the game for now and anyone in the future.
I assume I don't need to include these notes that are in between, like, compared to the clerics miracles, the wizard spells are a lot more
Yeah,
flexible.
those are that's advice basically.
Okay,
that
got
we've
it.
put in. So it's like designer's notes, but it's like
Got it,
ones
got
we
it,
do
got it.
want to be publicly facing, but they're not built into the move.
I think I'm going to hoard all of my stuff and see exactly how fast I can get to 5 heat.
Excellent. It's actually you could get to 5 heat in one session, given how often you can
Okay.
use it. Like
Let's do this.
you can mark 1 heat whenever you play a trick, unless you roll a 10 higher, and whenever you push yourself, which is a limit of once per session, but also whenever you help another PC, which doesn't have a limit.
We just need to be pursued off the bat immediately.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
we've established what your crimes are. Apparently, you probably have
Bucket stealing.
bucket stealing, the highest of crimes. So I think I'll ask you narratively, like, actually, let's read out the move that we're talking about. Wanted criminal. Someone's pursuing you like a relentless hound for your past crimes, actual or imagined. In this case, maybe actual, maybe played up a bit. We'll see how.
I think the bucket thing is funny, but also there is a significant. We're not going grimdark, but they're out of water.
Yeah, they didn't die, but they all had to, like, abandon the town or something. Like, you ruined the town because of that.
Maybe not ruined yet. Like, I think they're still at the stage where they're caravanning water in now as they try and get another solution. But, like,
You skyrocketed
a
the price of water.
Yeah, that's fair. The GM may increase your heat as a consequence of another move. When your heat, so you start with 0 heat. When your heat becomes 5, your pursuer is about to find you. The GM will decide when and how they appear. After they've been defeated, escaped from, bargained with, etc., reset your heat to 0. You can also do lots of things to increase your heat, beyond just the GM inflicting it as a consequence. So, who's your pursuer? Is it someone specific, or is it just, like, general authorities? This is kind of intentionally in between, where
I
you
think
can
it is
decide
somebody
if it's
specific,
okay.
but I don't think I know anything about them yet. I think we'll discover them when they show up.
Okay, so pursuer is a specific mysterious person.
Yes.
Okay. Love it.
Sorry for sticking the burden on the GM there, but
I don't have an issue. We probably, if we're not going to see them today, even if you get to 5 heat, we'll end with them with the like silhouette of a person appearing at the end of the session if we need to, and then if, like, this is the pilot episode, they haven't been cast yet, and so next episode they'll actually be cast and it'll be a totally different silhouette. It'll be perfect.
There we go.
All right. You also have play a trick, which is how you use the things you're an expert in, basically. And you have, as I mentioned, Cloak and Dagger, which also lets you gain heat.
All right. Stealth it is.
How are the rest of you guys looking for starting moves?
Um,
The wizard's pretty straightforward, right? You
prestidigitation, prestidigitation,
cantrips,
weave a spell, cantrips.
Yep.
And then I was doing equipment, so
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm stuck on equipment. We'll talk about that next. I guess.
just moved to equipment too, and I'm also looking at it with my head tilted a little.
Yeah.
The starting moves for fighter are second wind, which is I can do something again once per session.
You can normally push yourself once per session, everyone individually. The fighter gets to do it a second time per session.
Yeah. And then veteran support, I know people from a past battle.
You know, rats.
I know rats.
It's probably rats, but that's up to you. You get to
Yeah.
basically say,
I mean, I feel
fought
like
with or
I'd
against this
say
person
this.
before. Yeah.
I had an adventure to get to the tavern at the top of the world.
That's true.
Like, there is a whole rat venture from when I was spawned to now.
Yeah, you have an entire spin-off prologue series of
Yeah. Yeah, of the bloody path of the Rat King.
Yeah.
As I cemented my title onto this world.
Cemented your throne.
Excellent.
Um,
So, the way that I was going to talk about how equipment works, but do you have a question first?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
No.
So, there are each class has 3 pieces of 3 lines, and you pick 1 item per line there, as to what appeals to you. Now, the way equipment works in this is, it's split into different categories, but here is gear. Gear is narrative. They are the items that are so core and classic to your character that it is the exception to not have them, not the rule. So you can still lose or break one or something due to like a significant consequence, but I'm never going to ask if you have it on you, and you never have to check if you have it on you. The default is you have your chosen 3 things on you. The first one's usually some kind of weapon. I think the wizard might be a spell implement instead. The second one's usually something you wear. And the third one's usually like something else. Some kind of like gadget or tool or gimmick or item that you have on you. So choose one from each line, basically. Or
So I have
write
my
your own
first.
with the GM's permission.
I have my first 2. The first one is an inscribed sword, which is as I
Your
described
giant
my
knife.
four,
Yeah.
my 4.5 foot long knife.
What is it
sword.
inscribed with exactly?
I'm assuming runes in the world we live in.
Totally could be
Oh.
runes. Magic items
I
are a
was-
separate thing, but it could just be like ruins of glowiness or something. Like it could be magic without having a magical effect.
I was thinking rats rule with a Z.
Yeah, tunnel rats rule.
Actually, I changed my mind. It is the sword of the Rat King, and that is inscribed upon the blade.
Yeah,
Sword of the
That's-
Rat King.
that's how
Yeah.
you know. That's how everyone knows you're a rat king, because they obviously
No.
wouldn't otherwise.
We're gonna move on to the next item. My iconic helm, the steel crown of rats. The steel crown
Oh,
of
is it
the
a helmet with a
rats.
crown on it?
No, it's just a crown.
It's a
Oh,
crown
okay.
made of steel. Perfect.
it's a steel crown. Yeah,
I love it. And what's the other one? The third thing for you?
that's the question. I don't feel like I have a backup weapon.
Well, so the iconic helmet was the third thing. So
Yeah.
it's the middle
Oh.
one I'm wondering about. Polished plate, studded leather, weathered chainmail, or something else. Do you wear armor? And if so, what kind?
No, I
You said
have a
you
tabard.
don't wear. You have a tabard. That could be your thing. Of like your
That's all
iconic.
That's all of my
tabard.
clothes. That's
All
of my
your clothes
clothes.
are iconic outfit, basically.
Yeah,
But
tabard
Do you
of
have
the Rat
any?
King.
You have the tabard, but no protective
Nope.
gear.
Nope.
Just
I'm a
like
duelist.
Rippling muscles.
Yeah, rippling muscles. Can I have pectorals?
Plated pectoral.
bulging pectorals or something.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
Yes.
you can't lose it, but yes.
You can never lose your pets, no matter
Not
how
without
long
some
you
kind
never
of
work
enfeeble
out.
magic.
Not without some weird wizardry. I will always have my bulging pectorals.
Excellent.
Cool, I think we figured out the armor question. We're good then.
Okay. Who's next?
Well, I'm copying you a little bit there. I'm also getting an inscribed sword. In this
Ooh.
case,
that's on-
it's got the, it's the family sword that they paid way too much money for to just proudly display over the
Oh.
mantelpiece. And yeah, that was taken
Yeah.
before I left.
Give me a sec, Marissa.
Was-
I need to fix
I'm
your
assuming after you
gear.
stole the bucket, you're like, I gotta
Oh,
leave.
In
Grab
fact,
the
you know how I
sword.
said I spent the entire last week and a few weeks writing this? Sometimes things got copied from the wrong thing. So, Marissa, let me give
Ah.
you your
Oh, yep, that
the
was
things
that
you'll
was the
probably
This
like a
looks
lot
very
better.
fighterly.
It is very fighterly. Here you go. This is why we're doing this before we make it public.
Yay!
Okay, then I don't have gear. Let me redo the entirety of
I'll
my
do
list.
my gear.
You
While
might
we're
like
at
some of the
this,
options
though,
more.
what are supplies, and is there a way to link to where the supplies are so that we can easily see
Oh, that's
those?
a
Or
good
is it just
idea. Let me.
figure of the mind? Yes.
No, there's a specific thing for that.
Perfect. Thank
I'll
you.
put that in each playbook, and this is exactly what I asked for. Very helpful. So, supplies. You each start with, you know how adventuring gear works in Dungeon World 1? I don't know if any of you do, but adventuring gear was a
No.
specific item in Dungeon World 1 that had 5 uses that you could... Actually, Marissa, you know how adventuring gear works in Chasing Adventure? Where you have
That I
5
do.
uses, and you take it out to be like, I have this, like, miscellaneous adventuring item. It doesn't matter until I spend a use of adventuring gear to get it out. That's how supplies work, and we've expanded it so it works with lots of different types of things. You have 5, every character has 5 supply. That is like a currency that you have. And you can spend it on different things depending on what types of supplies you have access to. No matter how many types of supplies you have access to, it always comes from the same count, but you get more versatility in it, the different ones that you choose. So now that they're all linked, supplies, there's an example list in the supply section of what every type of supplies might give you. It is generally meant to be fairly flexible, though, because using it has a cost. So if you spend 1 supply, you can produce an item that you need appropriate to a type of supplies you have access to for a scene. And if you spend 2 supplies, you keep the item present going forward until you next rest. So there's a cost to have the item, which is why the supply types are narrative directions, is how I would describe it. Everyone starts with adventuring supplies. They are adventuring supplies. Torches, rations, bedrolls, flint and steel, water skin, sacks, and rope. They're the things that, in a D&D game, everyone's assumed to always have some of. The rest are a bit more specific. Every class gets adventuring supplies +1, plus a choice between 2. So everyone starts with 3 different types of supplies. Does that make sense?
To a point. So we have 5 separate supplies, and I will
this is
have to
supply is a
reread what
currency
it
you
is.
track.
Perfect.
And you, as a rogue, have adventuring supplies, which everyone has, and thieving supplies, because you're a rogue. You can also choose navigation or poisonous supplies to do navigational or poisoning things.
Navigation in this case, because I
Perfect.
think I'm slightly less deadly than poisonous supplies implies.
Can I swap out my choice between cooking and medical supplies for trappings of nobility?
What would if you can write me a short list of what nobility supplies would look like? Sure.
Signet rings, fancy cheese,
Fancy cheese.
fine parchment, corsages.
I think I'm actually going to have to say no, because
Lace
that's
kerchiefs.
such a wide variety of things that it's basically anything money could buy to a degree. Does that make sense? What you're describing feels like anything as long as it's fancy.
Yeah, fancies.
Yes.
Being not useful in any other category.
I can think
Anyway,
of uses
what
for most
supply-
of those.
What supply would a signet ring fall into?
I mean, you already have a signet ring.
I mean, there's sentimental jewelry as my 3rd piece of gear.
You could switch out your bulging pecs for your signet ring. That's your armor.
But I need armor. What's funnier? Bulging arms or a signet?
I mean, the thing about gear is they're meant to make you think about what you're wearing. But the way it works here is, again, it's narrative. So if you have already narratively said you have a signet ring. So in this case,
we'll put it in that category.
Yeah.
And then I guess medical supplies? Sure.
Okay. Yeah. I think we've all chosen then. So, the next thing to do is...
Oh yeah, I didn't go through mine.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. What's the wizard gear?
The wizard gear is let's see here. I chose the enormous spell book as I tried because I just deleted it when I chose it. So let me go to the actual PDF or where is it? So much scrolling.
There's a lovely document tab on with essentially bookmarks.
I
Oh, okay, I
curated
got
it so it's quick to navigate.
enormous spellbook, glowing staff, or enchanted dagger. I feel like enormous spellbook fits. I just have all the runes in the book.
Perfect.
Astral
Dubious
robes.
efficacy.
Yeah, inconspicuous cloak or scorched leathers. I did astral robes.
Perfect.
He just got robes around him.
Yeah.
And then the third one,
I'm assuming open in the front.
yeah. Yeah, very much like
Like a
like if
bathrobe.
he had, yeah, like a bathrobe.
But with stars and moons.
I was going to say,
on
given
it.
how the dwarf culture that you're describing
It
is...
probably literally is a bathrobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just grabbed on his way out. And then I'm stuck on the third one for fireworks, list of magical contacts, or unseen servant. I feel like none of those really fit my guy.
Mm-hmm. You
I'm
want
just
to...
not sure.
There's
A
write your
chisel?
own with the GM permission for a thing. So if you thinking of something else, could be
Yeah, we're
like
sort of
scrutinizing eyeglasses, or I don't know if you need glasses as a golem. Who knows?
It would be funny though.
would be
to
funny.
put
It would be
glasses
great.
over just two like runes carved where your eyes are supposed to be, but they're regular glasses.
Yep.
I have runes of seeing, but they're a little blurry.
Yeah, they aren't calibrated right. So
I mean, I could go with fireworks just because.
you would be immune to the explosions, which could be helpful.
You know what? That's true. You know what? I'm gonna go fireworks. I feel
Cool.
like that's something he could grab on his way out of the dwarven.
Yeah, everyone
bunker.
dwarves
Definitely, yeah.
specialize in fireworks, even though they live underground. That sounds like them from what we've described.
Yeah.
And for my equipment, now that I'm no longer accessing swords, I've got a padded cudgel, forgettable face and attire, and many knives.
And then I also chose academic supplies.
Yes, each of you.
There's academic supplies. I
are-
can't get noble supplies.
Well, that's you meant when you described the things that Mike would have noticed was, I'm like, okay, that cheese probably cooking supplies. That parchment probably like, yeah. Academic supplies are totally a thing. You can get more supply types later if you want them. Did everyone pick their supply types? You went with
so.
We had medical. Cool. Okay.
Yep.
Next are stats.
Yeah.
So you have 5 stats: forceful, sly, astute, intuitive, and compelling. They mostly match strength to like the D&D equivalents. Not entirely. There is no int stat. When you recall knowledge, it's based on its own set of questions to determine your role. Astute represents how much you notice, study, deduce, and calculate in your environment. And intuitive represents your ability to read people and commune with the supernatural. They're both different aspects of the typical D&D wisdom of notice people and also like mental fortitude and stuff like that, but they've been split up into their own things. So
Just checking. In the classes here, is there a place to note that down at all?
write it down
just
on
put
the
it in
Roll20 on your Roll20 sheet for the yeah, no, there isn't a thing in that there. The version of the classes in the document are for reading, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It's just it's the first part of character creation that hasn't been directly walked down this sheet.
That's fair, yeah. Yeah, it's not mentioned in the classes because it's exactly the same for everyone. You pick. I'll put this in Roll20 chat so that you can reference them easily, but you assign them as you will between those 5, and I'll put the text description of each of these as well. There. So some of them are pretty obvious. The rogue generally wants to be good at sly. Some of the moves specifically say roll plus sly. The fighter wants to be good at forceful. The first thing the forceful description says is how good you are at fighting. And the wizard wants to be good at astute. Weaving a spell has you roll with astute. Like, those are pretty obvious.
I think I'm gonna make my astute -1.
You can. You'll get a lot of XP.
Yeah.
That is fair, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. But it's
Oh.
totally flexible.
All right. I will not anti-min max immediately. We'll see how long I stay alive and then decide.
Like in Chasing Adventure, you can choose when you die, but also like in Chasing Adventure, there's always a consequence for being defeated,
Okay.
even if you don't die.
So obviously, forceful has to be my
If you want to be good at fighting, and narratively you've established that you are, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think on the rest?
Okay. I think I've got these stats settled.
Mm.
Forceful -1, sly +2, compelling 0, and astute and intuitive +1.
All right.
Nice. I have forceful at 1 because I'm a stone man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sly at -1 because I'm a stone man.
Yeah.
Astute at 2, intuitive at 1, compelling at 0.
Perfect.
I have forceful 2, sly 0, astute -1, intuitive +1, compelling +1.
Sweet. Okay. So
Okay.
the next thing you want to do is next to where you've written down each of your stats, you want to set each of those stats that is above 0. So the 3 of those for each of you that's above 0 has an associated currency called Defiance that you can use to defy consequences. If you're familiar with resist rolls from Blades in the Dark, where after a bad thing has happened to you, you're just like, no, it does not.
So it's equal to the same?
Equal to the stat, minimum of 0. So you have 2 forceful indigo. Defiance as a currency. And you can defy consequences with that over the course of the game.
Is there any benefit to not using your defiance and just saying, yep, that happens?
Yes, which we'll get to. There's also ways to defy for free. Defiance, like, if a condition is inflicted upon you, you might want the penalty to rolls if you want XP. It isn't, I guess the right way to put it is it's not as straightforward as get XP for rolling with a condition. Most rolls, rolls now say when they give you XP. Almost all rolls say on a 6- you give XP. A couple don't. That's intentional. If they're safer rolls where nothing bad happens, usually you also don't get XP for them, and it says it or doesn't say you get XP on the 6- result. That makes sense.
Okay, so it's roll low, you are possibly going to get XP out of that.
You'll know when you will. Like, it'll say on the move before you roll it. But yeah. Defiance is meant to be sort of a, like, no, I don't like that thing. In this game, and the way we're experimenting and trying it out right now, there isn't a catch-all move for dealing with, like, general consequences. In Dungeon World 1 and in several other games, it would be like, I'm not sure if I can close the gap in time to beat to get in range to fight this guy. Roll to defy danger is how it works in Dungeon World 1. In Dungeon World 2, the way we're trying it now is you can get in close in time, but they will hit you first, harming you, and if you want to, you can accept that and take a condition, or you can spend an appropriate defiance, say how you overcome it, and still get there anyways.
Okay.
And in my last campaign, which Jordan was a part of, it took a couple sessions to get used to, and during the last few sessions of it though, because it wasn't that long of a playtest campaign. I think it started to really click.
I'm curious to figure it out. I'm curious to see how well it plays with playstyle where I tend to drive my characters over cliffs, and I don't care what bad things
Then
happen
you
to
just
them.
don't have to use
So
Defiance.
I'm
Yeah.
What I will
curious if
say
there
is
will be a benefit to that.
Yeah.
But
I don't think so. You have little enough that it's not should you use it, it's how you should use it. Which consequences don't you want to? Because the thing about Defiance is you don't just use it against harm, you can use it against any direct consequence. So, like, no, I don't want to be seen by this person. I spend a sly Defiance to sneak, to like, resist them, to resist them seeing me, basically.
yeah, see, that assumes that I don't want to cause as
Yeah.
much trouble for myself as possible.
Go ahead and
Uh,
hold on to your Defiance. It
We'll see
right
how this
now
goes.
it doesn't
Thank you.
turn into XP if you don't use it.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll see how it plays. This isn't as much about Chasing Adventure is more directly aimed about managing that back and forth. This is still has that element, but it's less direct.
Okay.
So after that, introduce your characters, answer your origin questions. I think we've done that already.
Just a little.
So this was for if you guys like were figuring out your character as you played and as you made them, then you would introduce them here. But next we create bonds. So each character starts with one bond centered around one other player. This might be a belief about them, an event or goal involving them that happened, or a feeling or dynamic you have regarding them. There are, let me double check, actually. The text here says there are example bonds in the group playbook, but I think those got moved
I think they did.
to
I'm not seeing any
Under
tokens to jump me to bonds.
working together, growing stronger. I thought it was elsewhere. Either way, I have the list. I can give it to you in a second if they're not in this version of the book. I think I thought they were elsewhere when they are not.
Oh, let's just control F.
That's what I'm currently doing. There's a thing for bonds with your deity as a cleric, which I dig, but no. Okay, I have the list right here, so I'll put this in the document. This is one of the things about reordering the entire document is sometimes things get missed. Here we go. I will put those in the document under probably just in the first session because that's where you're going to do it 90% of the time.
Okay.
So maybe I'll move it later, but I'll reformat this and these are pretty, I'm going to call them emotionally charged bonds, as you can see from the first one.
Yeah, just a little.
These are examples. You don't have to pick one. No, I want to do that. Okay. Oh, I put in backstory.
Okay, so these are examples and not the only ones that are required. We can make up our
Correct.
own, you said?
You can totally make up your own. What we did is we went through the various ones that were specific to different classes in Dungeon World and Chasing Adventure and similar. We're like, they kind of all boil down to some of these. Some variant with a bit more specifics of these.
Okay.
Do we want to take a look at these and maybe think of our own over a break?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So we will be back in...
These are the bonds?
These are the bonds. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with that. And then we'll see how things go. Thank you for watching. We'll go on break. Welcome back to Dungeon World 2 Alpha Rules, where we're making bonds with each other.
Yeah.
So I've made note of a bit of feedback. I think bonds, I want to improve them a bit before we go live with the alpha, but that's not too hard.
Cool. I don't know the best way to phrase it, but my gut reaction for a way I could be connected to someone, Little Rock Man feels like a fascinating individual that I want to know way too many intimate details about how Little Rock Man works.
Yeah. I will
Joe
learn.
fascinates me.
Perfect. I must learn more or something.
I must learn more about its function.
I like it. Okay, Joe, that is a bond with you. What is your bond with, if we're going in a triangle, with Marissa's character? Also, we don't have names for
We
anyone.
never gave names.
I'm assuming the Rat King is not the name, but the title. But I don't know for that for sure.
I didn't come up with it. Do I need a name?
Yes,
came up with
I'm
a
just
name.
gonna say you need a name.
I came up
Generally,
with my
people
name.
have names.
All right.
Joe Glyphosine.
Joe, you're
Fine.
right. Your name is Joe.
J-O with the dots, the umlaut, I think it's
Joe. Did you say Joe Glyphson?
Joe Glyphison.
Glyphison.
Glyphisson.
Excellent.
Yeah. I wrote one myself. I'm gonna put another PC is very interesting. I want to learn all I can about them.
Well,
We can't have the same.
Let's see. You know what? I'll do the I teach and mentor another PC, maybe in some subjects or all of them. I'm just gonna spit facts out at you until you retain them. Rogue.
I'm good with that. Marissa is a little bit worried that these bonds aren't actually relationships, but it's hard to do. Anyhow.
Fair.
The bond should follow the fiction, and right now you guys have done one off-screen mini dungeon together that where kobolds mugged you. Do any of you want to have bonds about how, I don't know, it's their fault the kobold mugged us? How dare they get us mugged by the kobolds?
Wait, I can have a negative bond with you.
You could totally have negative bonds too.
I
It's a
certainly
close
don't
relationship doesn't mean a positive relationship.
I'm gonna say another PC shouldn't have touched the idol. That's why they beat us up.
Wonder who that was. All right, I'm Drundum, the Rat King.
Grundum?
mind.
Drundum.
Drundum. Okay, I love it. Okay, we have two bonds.
Sure.
Okay,
What's your bond with Drundum?
I know a secret about Drundum, and they either don't know about it or don't like that I know.
He's just a dude.
I don't know about it. I think it's the fairest point.
We had that.
It is.
No, we had the he's just a dude in our last Dungeon World campaign, didn't we?
What do you mean? Oh, no, you're talking about the Minotaur with his brother who was just a human.
We did, but there was something. No, I was thinking of a Dungeon World one-shot that I did offline, where someone was convinced they were a specific species, and one of the people chose, like, no, I know the secret, and they're just a normal person, and no one... That's why. I was thinking of a different game. But, it's great. It's a lot of fun.
I don't think that's a secret about what they are, but more about how they came to be. I don't think Drundum knows, and I think it's... How much does it bother you to be messing with you are very sure that is your willpower that brought you into being? And my answer of, yeah, no, it absolutely was not.
As far
Does
as
that
I
bother you?
understand, no, it's fine. As far as I understand it, I am summoned forth from the will of all rats, and that is my divine right to rule all rats.
All right, and at some point, in my magical researching about how to get through the wall, I came across some sort of spell or something or other that says, oh, you fit this to a T.
It's the Rat King
It has
spell.
absolutely nothing to... Some guy just got bored and
You're a rat golem, it turns out.
A rat golem.
they
A
missed
rat
the
flesh
part of this,
golem.
like, I can see this little bit of fur on your back in this pattern. That's the bit where they missed the bind the Rat King to do my bidding part.
Are you good with that,
That's no
Indigo? If
idea.
that's the
I
secret?
have the divine right to rule all rats. You're correct. I just don't know this.
Excellent.
You just have delusions of grandeur.
To be fair, that does work really well with my backstory option of I have made too much of an identity and I'm scared of it. The Rat King has got away from old Drundum.
I also love the idea of there's being multiple Rat Kings because they of the spell, but all of them are the Rat King. So even the
The
stories all think they're the same person, and that's why very
That's
few of them
so
are wrong
funny.
because they were right about one of them. That's my theory.
That's great.
Okay. Well, we have bonds done. Excellent.
Oh, here I'm gonna say the rogue shouldn't have touched the idol. Their little klepto fingers are going to get us into trouble. That's what I made the whole bond.
I didn't. I was worried about the exact terminology, but I almost named one of the rogue advanced moves Kleptomaniac.
I think that not naming it that is a good call, and
I stick
am
by my
totally
decision
fine
not
with
to name
that.
it, but note that your bond with the rogue is accurate to the class. Okay.
Excellent.
Next, we set kinship. So this is where we talk about the fact that there is a group playbook. As linked in the text above the in the create bond section, you have a group playbook. So let's talk about some other bits of the game because it doesn't really touch upon it in first session. But so I'll start with your playbook. You guys have conditions individual that you can take. We'll get to them later. You also have a group playbook which has its own conditions called burdens. You have 3 of them. They each have their own specific thing. So if you ever take a burden, you mark it. You also have a shared resource, kind of like Team from Masks, called kinship. Represents your cohesion and camaraderie. When you help each other, you spend kinship. When you clear burdens when relaxing together, you mark kinship to do that. You spend it. And certain there's lots of different ways you can spend kinship, especially as you advance. You're like, oh, this thing gets kinship. But generally, working together in different ways costs kinship, and lots of things can also give you kinship. If you go to page 72 on the document, it lists kinship and links to like 8 different moves that can give you it, and over time you'll get like more and more ways to spend it. But the big one is helping each other. Where in Masks, you spend 1 team to give someone a +1 to a roll. In this, you spend 1 kinship to give someone advantage to a roll, which is a lot bigger. If you can click the assist companion link to go see what the full move is. Technically, you spend 1 kinship and they choose to either gain advantage to their roll or to accomplish more than normal with the move, which is intentionally flexible. So if someone is sneaking into something and they're being helped, maybe they don't just sneak themselves in, maybe they sneak the whole party in if they accomplish more than normal. So it's very much sort of fictional positioning, do more than even the text of the move says, in a way that fits. If you want to get helped in a way that isn't just a dice boost. So managing kinship as a group, we'll just put kinship starts at 1 per player character at the start of the first session. So we will do kinship equals 3, because there's 3 of us.
All right.
And over time that will be spent, and that will be gained as we play. Other parts about the group playbook. Later on, there are group advancements that we'll interact with. You'll get group levels. It's not too dissimilar from Blades in the Dark. It's not identical, but there's 3 different advancement tracks, each with their own end of session question. Get their own version of group XP. Get advanced moves.
Or group playbook?
In the group playbook. But that is stuff we will deal with after the end of the first session of real play.
Okay.
In the first session itself, I think we're basically done. The next step is flesh out the world and characters, which we've been doing constantly, which I love.
Mhm.
And then the next step is to start playing. So I think what I'll do is we're gonna end before we actually start playing in terms of like time and energy levels today, but I'll talk a bit more about the game so that we can more easily jump into things next week. Because there are some more aspects to your individual characters that are not touched on directly in the first session procedure. Firstly, you guys have conditions that you individually can take. You can find about them on page 20 of the book, 20 and 21. But right now there's 8 conditions in total that you can take. There is 1 per stat that gives you disadvantage on that associated stat. And those are pretty much emotional ones. There's also 3 others for your physical state or sort of situational state. I'll just kind of go through them in order. There's angry, which gives you disadvantage on astute rolls. Conspicuous, which gives you disadvantage on sly rolls. Distracted, which is disadvantage on intuitive. Frightened is disadvantage on compelling. And exhausted is disadvantage on forceful. There's also 3 others that have their own effects. Deprived, which decreases your supply by 2, current and maximum. There's maimed, which means you are badly wounded. You can still help others, but you cannot do anything yourself significant without pushing yourself or getting help from someone. So it's kind of like level 3 Harmon Blades in the Dark, if you're familiar with that, where like you're in trouble acting alone. And then you're dying, which is when you mark this, you face death. Now, dying is at the very bottom, but you do not have to mark these in order. If you feel like you want to die when you take your first instance of harm, you could. I don't recommend it, but you could. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The one question I have that is related is what is advantage or disadvantage in this game? Is it +1, +2, roll extra dice?
Roll extra dice. If you're familiar with Chasing Adventure, if you have advantage, roll 3 dice, keep the highest 2. If you have disadvantage, roll 3 dice, keep the lowest 2. In Dungeon World 2, you can never go above 1 level of advantage or disadvantage. They do still cancel each other out. If you have 2 advantage and 1 disadvantage, you sum it up to 1 advantage. But you never roll more than a total of 3 dice. Keep or lowest or highest if things get extremely good or bad.
Okay.
So it's pretty straightforward. Just like in Chasing Adventure, when you receive a condition, you choose which condition you take. And there's one other trick to conditions. This one is kind of a brand new thing. I'm sure it exists in other games, but I kind of myself made it up from scratch to try it out here, which is conditions do not have 2 states, on or off. They have 3 states. Clear, which is you don't have it. Marked, which is you have it. And crossed, which is you have it and it will go away when you next rest. Almost everything that deals with conditions to heal them do not instantly heal them, but instead set them up to be healed when you next rest. This is in order to kind of keep this is to juggle 2 problems. 1, the D&D joke of I'm gonna go take a nap and heal from being impaled. Mm-hmm. This is, no, you first need to narratively deal with this. You can't just nap off being stabbed. But then on the other hand, resting is still an important part of the feeling of playing Dungeons & Dragons, and we wanted to maintain that importance without making it over-important. And so if you want to heal a condition, you deal with it, and then you rest. the rest process itself has a big inviting opportunity to deal with. But you still need to do it in the narrative. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
I think that the next question that I tend to have is, how does one get XP?
Yep.
If I want to, say, all right, we're going everything for the XP.
If you're gonna say, okay, what you're gonna control FXP and do those things, okay. So most moves say on a 6-, the exact word is that on a 6-, here's a suggestion as to how, and then the GM makes a move and mark XP. So rolling bad is a reliable way to get XP. In addition to that, there is a move on the bottom of page 34 called End the Session. The first half of that move is about the group XP things, which we call progress here, which, as I said, each has its own question, but that's the top half of that move. The bottom half of that move is about individual questions that you answer for yourself. Did you grapple with a facet of your backstory? Mark XP. Did you have a new conflict or connection with a companion? You can get some conditions, like address conditions or add kinship, like that's about connection with the rest of the group. Or did you take a big risk or express your capabilities in a new way? Mark XP. So those are two other big ways you can do that. Let me double check if there's anything else that isn't a 6-. There is one. When you are camping and something approaches camp, in the move Keep Watch, you can, there we go. Keep Watch is while you're camping, and either you have the hunted burden as a group, which is basically you might get ambushed no matter where you are, or you're established as camping somewhere wild and dangerous. The GM might ask suddenly, something approaches, who's watching for danger? You roll with Astute, whoever does it, and one of the options is you meet it at a nearby location of your choice and gain 1 XP. So you can jump up and say, me, I'm on watch, if anything approaches camp, if you really want XP.
Is there a different way for group XP?
Right now, the only way to get group XP progress is through end of session questions. So do the things that each individual category says, each individual path.
There's one more place where it says you gain XP.
Where's that?
Enjoying an interlude.
Ah, yes, you're right. I'm going through this now, but I'm not finding it under Control F, and I suspect I know why. Either way, spend money to get XP. So, enjoy an interlude. When you spend time resting in a place of civilization, you may spend wealth 1 for 1, 2. Let's go through these down the list. Resupply, which is refresh the group's supplies back to their default amount, usually 5. Celebrate, add 1 kinship to the pool, then relax the other, but clear all cross conditions instead of, I think it says instead of 1, but I actually changed that now. It normally heals 3. Or prepare. Everybody in the group gets an XP. You spend 1 wealth, which is a group-wide resource, which I should have talked about. In addition to kinship, you have wealth. When you loot stuff, you get wealth. Pretty straightforward. There's a guideline for how much wealth you get.
Big.
Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 3.
So this is not a load your pockets kind of adventure.
Sticky fingers get you well.
What we want to do is make it so we feel like the characters are managing inventory and doing the adventure bookkeeping in the background without the players needing to.
Yeah,
and that's
what
a
I mean.
tough
Like, I say I loot, I don't say I go and I grab all the broken armor.
Yes. There is a group advanced move called Scavengers where you can just be like, whenever you loot, you find once per session, whenever you loot, you find 1 more wealth worth of stuff. So, like, there is...
So if you're going to find 0, you find 1.
If you're going to find 0, you find... technically, no, that's the only exception. It's if you find 1, you find 2,
you find 2,
etc., etc.
Got it.
So it's I get more. But yeah, the other way to get XP is that's why I mixed it in Control.
There's also take a moment.
Take a moment. Yep, I'm missing it on Control F, I think, because of the exact terminology. But yes, take a moment. While traveling, if you find a meaningful discovery and emotionally connect with it, You can choose to, let me go to expedition moves. Take a moment, yeah. If you keep you would emotionally engage with a meaningful discovery, describe what you say or do, and if you open up to your monomorph LPCs, you get kinship, but if you keep your emotions to yourself and bottle it up, you get XP. So,
All right.
do you go friendship or do you go emo?
Ooh, and then if you think it's the emotion is intense or difficult, you choose the market condition, and then you mark additional XP for being angsty.
That's correct. If you also want XP, consider playing a bard. One of the bard's artistic obsessions is tragedy. After taking a condition, you may mark a second condition and express your feelings out loud verbally and get an XP then and there. So you can basically really loudly say that is the obsession with tragedy, and it's just, yeah, it's something hurts. You can make it really hurt and get a reward.
All right. Maybe not consider, switching classes before I've played with this one. So,
Yep. But yeah, there's lots of different things. There's sources of XP is meant to be pretty frequent. You level up when you get 5 XP, flat every time, no matter what level you are. As you will see.
Yeah, and then I saw there was like a big chart that I fill out as I level up.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bit of an expanded version of what you might see in Masks or Avatar. List of specific options. They're not crazy. A lot of them are almost identical, or sometimes they are. Parts of them are identical across classes, but parts are unique. So some of them are increased stats. Some of them are get new moves. Some of them you can only take once you have already marked 5 from above. You get access to the second list below. It's not too different from probably like it's if you mixed Chasing Adventures and Masks. Chasing Adventure is almost entirely freeform, but it's still just pick one thing. Masks is still also pick one thing, but it has a much smaller list.
I had a question about class changes.
Yes.
Because I wasn't quite clear. Does this do the Powered by the Apocalypse thing, where you lose all of your other playbook moves when you change playbooks?
Basically, right now we're doing yes. There's a thing called changing classes on page 70 that runs you through the process. Any current level ups you have, you can use some of them to keep some of your old advanced moves. But the starting moves and the core feature of your class by default, and as written right now, you do lose it when you switch classes. But you get a free level up when you switch classes.
Cool.
When you switch classes by leveling up, you get a free level up, so it doesn't waste the level up, if that makes sense. Don't get a free level up if you switch classes by dying, because that's also a thing.
So you keep the remainder of your level ups.
Yes, you keep your level ups. You lose your starting stuff and get the new class's starting stuff. You keep the same number of level ups. Every class lets you take advanced moves from other classes. So if you're like, I was a fighter. Actually, I'll just read the example we wrote in here. This person had 4 advancements as a rogue. Player decides to keep Danger Sense from the Danger Sense. Did that move over to fighter? I don't actually remember. I think it moved over.
Whatever. You get the.
It is a rogue move. Yes.
Yeah.
Keeps Danger Sense when switching from rogue to fighter. But while Danger Sense was a rogue move, which means you get it as the advancement, choose an advanced move from your class. If you want to keep it, you choose an advancement from a different class to keep it. You basically just re-level up into it.
Yeah. Cool. Not that I super want to change classes, because...
You just picked them. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see how this one plays.
Does anyone else have any other questions? There's a bit to the game, like there's different parts of it. But I think that's basically everything. You could.
I like that we did figure out a quest. That's usually what we're missing
Mhm.
at the end of the
in its
level.
starting
A
direction.
session 0 is a quest.
Yep. I recommend you don't have to now, but there is a magic item system, and you could, as you see in your level up things, you can just get a magic item when you level up.
Yeah.
So it's not something you need to worry about now, but they are interesting. So if you care
So the
for them, they're on
bucket
page
currently
24.
exists,
The
but
bucket
is
exists.
not a magic
The
item.
bucket is probably not what I would consider a magic item compared to some of the things listed in our magic items, which is like elemental, if it's imbued with fire, lightning, frost, or similar, or animated. It can act on its own to follow its user's wishes. Do you want an animated bucket?
I mean, at this point, this bucket can be our mascot. I don't know.
Draw a face on
We-
it.
we
Give
are-
it a name.
We are the bucket boys.
The bucket brigade.
Bucket brigade.
Excellent. But yeah, you can kind of make your own magic item as if you choose as a level up. And I think that's everything. That's we're ready to get started in Dungeon World 2. So we're gonna call it here. I'm gonna do one last check for any last discussion topics before we do.
Yeah, I think that's about all I can think of. I'll spend forever trying to figure out a macro.
Totally normal.
But
I can
otherwise,
give you,
I think that's all my homework.
because I developed the sheet for Chasing Adventure. I can give you the macro I use for that. It's going to be very similar.
Oh,
like
yeah.
input, how many dice, input of disadvantage, done.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Perfect.
And I'm assuming with the +1 to or +2 to -2.
It'll last the stat, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think we are good. That's good. That's good. I recommend, if you want homework, which I'm sure everybody loves homework.
Obviously.
You level, so end of session stuff. You only gain group XP at the end of session, so you can decide between sessions what you want. But you individually can totally just level up mid situation as soon as you get 5 XP. So if you don't want to slow things down and don't want to wait to level up, then maybe make a small wish list of things. If you want to be like, yep, I picked this in the middle of this fight, I have it now, let's go, instead of slowing down and looking.
Fair enough.
That's all I can think of. That's part of, I mean, we don't want to slow things down, but one of the features is like extreme class flexibility. Every advanced move is made to be taken by anyone else of any class, which is why there's 6 per class, because they're all basically do a brand new thing without any number ups or anything. So, yeah.
All right.
Education, a college degree is
Yes,
one of those advanced
one of the wizard
moves.
moves is well educated. Do you want to be
You
a
just have a college degree.
Yep. So,
Cool.
Your college degree arrives in the mail by messenger pigeon.
Yes. Engineer,
owl.
treat objects and constructs as if we were people. That's harmful. Joe's already a person. We have to advance to treat him like a person? That's a level up.
apparently so. Yes. But also to treat the
I'm-
bucket like a person. You can take engineer and then treat the bucket like a person.
Ooh.
I think I count as a person, but the bucket doesn't because I could talk. The bucket
Are you not a
The
can't.
bucket
construct.
disagrees. The bucket thinks that it's a person and not you.
The bucket can't tell that. The bucket can't say that.
The bucket isn't saying it. The bucket thinks it.
You see, the bucket doesn't have the thinking rune right here.
No, it doesn't. It's the
I
thinking
mean, who
rune.
knows what's hidden underneath of that rope?
Mm.
Yeah.
It has no mouth, but it must scream.
Yeah, I'm worried the bucket might become like somehow the big villain of this campaign if it ever
Bucket
escapes from
becomes
you.
the big bad.
No, we just have to kill Tara's mom. That's the real adventure. Killing Tara's mom.
Is that
Oh,
your...
God.
Oh, Tara. You named your character Tara. Okay, I missed that.
Yeah, my character's been named Tara. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Wait. Oh, okay. I thought I misread your last name and thought you were the name of a famous voice actor.
I'm realizing it as that's pronounced. That yes, it is similar, but not intentionally. So
Nope, it's different. I just
random
misread
name
it.
generator.
Perfect. Then I think we're good. Okay, Dungeon World 2. Next week, let's start wall seeking. Is it wall
Yes.
climber?
Yes.
Is it wall climbing? I don't think it's climbing. I think it's a death sentence.
Wall seeking.
Yeah.
Wall
You're
seeking,
already
yeah.
at the wall, but you're seeking a way past it. Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see more Dungeon World 2 next week. And the alpha will be out soon. I promise. We're working really
Soon
hard on
TM.
it. Soon TM. Like, we're playing on the rules now, but also, weirdly enough, we need more than just the rules ready. So we'll be back next week.
Yeah.